Hello, everybody. Welcome to group tonight. We really are glad that you're sitting around a circle tonight and enjoying your time of fellowship, your time of encouragement, intercessory prayer time, and of course, learning. We really do believe that discipleship happens best in groups, and that circles provide something that we can't get in rows. Just some discussion, some opportunities to talk about what we talked about Sunday. So as you know, Sunday began a brand new series of messages we're calling Chasing the Wind. That comes directly out of the text of Ecclesiastes, and we're going to be walking through Ecclesiastes together. Now, granted, in 5 weeks, we can't work verse by verse or word by word through Ecclesiastes, but we will be looking at large chunks of Ecclesiastes to try to get some of the feel for what Solomon was experiencing in these days. Solomon's experience was really not a lot different than ours. And so as he journals his thoughts in Ecclesiastes, we're really reminded of many of the same things and same thoughts and feelings that we have today. In fact, honestly, this could be the journal of any busy businessman, a successful business person. This could be the journal of any housewife or husband or child even, teenager, college student. Because we've all experienced, and I think as we walk through it, you'll begin to see that. The journal is written by Solomon. He right away identifies himself in chapter 1, verse 1. He says, "The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem." Well, it's clear that is Solomon. David was the most popular king in Israel. He unified the kingdom, brought peace to the kingdom, and was very successful. Then his son Solomon took over, and this Solomon now, in the midst of his reign, and perhaps many believe in the midst of the middle part of his life, begins to have issues. He begins to be disillusioned with life. Some theologians think that even he was depressed. Now, whether he was depressed, disillusioned, discouraged, whatever it is, certainly he was searching for meaning in life that makes him not much different than all of us. Since all of us have those same frustrations and dismay, it's probably a good thing that we spend time in the book of Ecclesiastes. So we're going to start this first week by just introducing the thought that Solomon has about the futility of life, or the futile feeling that he has with life, and the search that he begins, the things he begins to chase in order to find that life. He describes in verse 2 of chapter 1 this. He says, absolute futility. Absolute futility. Everything is futile. Maybe your version of the scripture says vanity. The idea is futility or emptiness. The Hebrew word there is the inside of a soap bubble. The point being that he's empty. He has nothing there. The bubble is burst and there's nothing there. And the interesting thing about that is he searched for everything. Chapter 2 says, "I said to myself, go ahead. I will test you with pleasure. Enjoy what is good." Solomon's going to go on a search to find some meaning and to get rid of this futility. His search begins with pleasure. Now, which one of us can't identify with that? Who among us is not interested in pleasure, in finding a happy place, if you will, in finding a happy moment? Even the preamble of our Constitution says that we are endowed with inalienable rights, and one of those is what? The pursuit of happiness, the chasing of happiness. And Solomon says, I chased happiness, I chased pleasure, but even found that pleasure was futile. He said, I said about laughter, it's madness. And about pleasure, what does this accomplish? Isn't it sad when we see this man who has everything he could want, and yet life is empty? And so as we went through chapter 2, we saw that he searched for pleasure. He searched in things like parties, right? For a while, he had this partying atmosphere. He searched in projects. He tried to build things, construct things. He tried in possessions. He was the richest man alive, so certainly he could have had anything he wanted. But when he came down to it, searching for pleasure, he found that it was not fulfilling. Here's the way he closed the chapter out. He said, there is nothing better for a person than to eat, drink, and enjoy his work. I've seen that even this from God's hand, because who can eat and who can enjoy life apart from him? For to the person who is pleasing in his sight, he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering, accumulating, in order to give to the one who is pleasing in God's sight. This too is futile and chasing the wind. So at the end of his pursuit for pleasure, Solomon says, you know what? Even pleasure has a fleeting moment. It's nice for the moment, but then it's gone. We know that, don't we? What about a vacation? We have pleasure, and then it's gone. What about a sporting event? We have pleasure for a moment, and then the next day we go to work. It's gone. So we came to 2 points, and these are worthy of your discussion tonight, and really for you to delve into these and dig them out. Here's what we decided. First of all, that pleasure is not sinful, but it is dangerous. Pleasure is not sinful, but it is dangerous. Talk that through. Explore that a little bit. What do we mean by that, and how can that be? I think you'll find that it's very true. God intended for us to have pleasure and to enjoy life and to enjoy work. The problem is it can be dangerous. The second thought, pleasure is enjoyable, but it is not fulfilling. Pleasure is enjoyable, but it's not fulfilling. In the end, it too is fleeting. In the end, it too is not enough. Solomon decides this, that the real meaning in life is not found in pleasure, but in God's presence. Real meaning of life is found in a relationship with Him. I trust that you enjoy that relationship with Him and know that relationship now. If not, it'd be a good thing to talk about in your group tonight and to cry out to God for that fulfillment. Hey guys, again, we're glad you're in group. Have a great time discussing this incredible passage of Scripture. Next week, we'll look further into His search.